How the death of Kansas City sports reporter Adan Manzano while in town last month to cover the Super Bowl drew international attention.
It certainly did. And one person who was watching the case closely was Bob Arthur. He's also from Kansas City, and his son died in Metairie 8 years ago under very similar circumstances.
WWL Chief Investigator David Hammer investigated that case and has this report on why the Manzano case matters so much to the Arthur family.
Shawn Arthur was about to move back to his family home near Kansas City when he invited a woman to his mostly empty apartment in Metairie. The next morning, February 25, 2017, he was found dead. Jefferson Parish investigators found high levels of alcohol and drugs in his system. His credit cards, his TV, and other belongings stolen by the woman and a male accomplice. Almost 8 years later, Telemundo sports reporter Adan Manzano was in Kenner to cover the Super Bowl. He, too, was here from Kansas City. He, too, had a woman over to his hotel, and the next morning, he, too, was found dead from a potent mix of alcohol and drugs, with his belongings also allegedly taken by the woman and a male accomplice. Manzano's case drew lots of national attention during the Super Bowl and in the weeks since. The Kenner Police Department worked with local, state, and federal partners to track down this woman, Danette Colbert, seen here with Manzano at his hotel. Kenner Police Chief Keith Conley said Colbert's a career criminal known for drugging and robbing her victims.
Simple robbery, access device fraud, illegal transmission of monetary funds, bank fraud, and computer fraud.
In Louisiana, under revised statute 1430.1, if someone dies as a result of a robbery or another felony, that's murder, even if the perpetrator didn't intend to kill. Kenner police booked Colbert on murder charges and turned the case over to DA Paul Connick.
Now, as this case is ripe for prosecution, as it goes forward to the DA's office, I'm not really going to be given much information on that because I don't want to compromise the adjudication of this case.
Kudos to the Kenner Police Department. Apparently they did a bang-up job in their investigation. Unfortunately, we didn't have that.
Bob Arthur says the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office didn't investigate his son Shawn's death with the same vigor as Kenner did Manzano's.
Leave it up to the professionals is what we were told. Well, we left it up to the professionals for 3 months. And they closed their file and said there was no foul play, even though Shawn's vehicle and personal property were taken.
Arthur had to hire his own private investigators to track down Dominique Berry and her accomplice, Randy Shank, and discovered a trail of men they drugged and robbed across the country.
We found that there were 7 different cities that they had been involved in, somewhere between 50 to 100 victims.
A federal judge found the pair guilty of sex trafficking and ruled Shank was responsible for Shawn Arthur's death. But still, Jefferson Parish would not file murder charges.
I'll never forget sitting at the sentencing for Dominic Berry, and the judge, he looks up and he says, "Why are murder charges not filed?"
The same DA, Connick, now must decide whether to accept murder charges against Colbert under very similar circumstances.
Matter of fact, when I saw it, I had tears in my eyes because I couldn't believe that that could happen again.
The Kenner police chief knows it won't be easy to prove Colbert murdered Manzano.
We recognize it's going to be a circumstantial case, and Mr. Connick has some heavy lifting to do with that.
But he said it's time to take a stand.
This isn't just to take a bad person off the street, it's to give closure and answers to the family.
And for 8 years, that's all Bob Arthur has been asking for. David Hammer, WWL, Louisiana.
DA Paul Connick's office declined to comment on a pending case. The Kenner Police Department confirmed they booked Colbert on the murder charge because the law says if someone dies during a robbery, it's murder.
It's been